Oh, hey guys, this is the friendship table, and hey, we're actually,
Friendship Table.
and hey,
Discuss
we're,
this week's episode of My Little Pony.
like he said, and we're actually recording on a Friday. By God, means this video might actually get out on time, or be out early Saturday morning, which would be flawless. But
Flawless victory.
we're,
Perfection.
and obviously Dr. Sportin has the Sportin part of his name on the brain.
Yeah, I played a lot of Halo yesterday. I won't
And
lie.
with me as always is of course Dragonheart
Hi.
and our good friend AmericanChoirBoy, or as we're going to call him here, Freedom Enlightenment, has
How you
joined us
doing?
for the second straight week to talk about Bloom and Gloom, aka the return of the Princess of the Night, which makes it auto win. So, thoughts going from right to left, starting with Tyler first. What did you think about the episode this week, Tyler?
Insert Inception theme.
Uh,
Oh boy, dream within a dream. Oh boy.
yeah, you know, it,
Oh God! Don't even go there. Don't even go there.
Hey, what am I expected to do?
You're
yeah,
overcomplicating the message.
I'm not. We
no,
haven't even gotten to the message yet. This is
no,
nuts, baby.
This is
it,
Inception. How do I know your message isn't a message within a message within a message?
Now you're the one overcomplicating things.
Well, you
Fine.
started it.
I originally,
It's the friendship table.
yeah, really,
This is how
guys.
we express our friendship, is the sad thing.
And we
But-
beat each other up afterwards.
but, I thought Groundhog Day
Yeah.
when I first
I haven't
watched
seen
it.
that movie.
What?
Me neither.
David?
I haven't seen that movie.
Don't ask me about movies; you'll be highly disappointed.
Fair enough. Ask him
Right.
about metal. You'll get somewhere then.
But Twitter mites. Twitter mites. Yeah.
I mean, as a threat, that's a pretty good idea, but the fucking name? You know what they're going for there.
Twitter mites. Twitter mites. They're saying
I only watched it once, but I didn't quite understand her job. That first cutie mark she got. What is
Well,
her job exactly?
It was a pest exterminator, and she was tasked with exterminating Twitter mites.
Okay, but she already had them captured,
Exterminate.
and it was like, I don't know. I wasn't at first. I thought those things helped kill the other pests, but then it's just like, oh wait, she's just calling them back. And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't understand. I'd like to see that job take place in the real world so I get a better understanding of what
But-
those bugs are for.
I
She
think
catches
it's
them
a,
without killing them.
I think it's an inside joke how all you have to do to stop some idiot on Twitter from repeatedly talking to you or repeatedly making your life a living hell is just call them out on their shit.
Oh, wow, that's great.
I think that was a clever way of the writers just making
Well, it's
fun
that,
of
and
like
they're knocking
Twitter
people that
people.
do nothing but tweet spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that they have the lightning, meaning them hurling insults and stuff like that. Which, by the way, that's an awfully dangerous job for an 8-year-old to go against bugs that shoot lightning.
Yeah,
That's what confused me at first, is he already had him captured, and it's like, okay, you got to let him out and then capture him.
Yeah.
Go out and capture
Well,
him again.
that
What is
confused me
wrong
at
with
first.
you?
Well,
That's
I
That's
mean,
what I
to be
was
fair,
thinking to that thing. What is wrong with you?
what happened was she ran away in anger and broke one of the things by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I got it.
and pick up the laundry,
And
do all kinds of other things, and go down there, pick up the rest, bring him back.
my mom here, guys, special guest star.
We applaud you, Mom! Yeah! Moms make the world go round!
Yeah. And, having a massively
Zoomed in on your mom when she was walking out.
Yeah, I know. The thing
Oh,
does
good.
that sometimes.
Oh, great. The random diversion of the week, guys, happens every time.
Yeah, but obviously, everyone can tell by those little things where that guy automatically leaves after teaching her one time,
Oh.
after spending like 5 minutes with her on one time for that thing.
But it's obvious that was the first dream, and
Yeah, that was a dream
funny.
because there was many telltale signs, especially the biggest one of all, where the barn is destroyed by the Twitter mites, which that can't be real, and it's not.
No.
I think the first thing for me that let on that it was a dream was that just Applejack's like, oh, hey, you got your cutie mark. And it's like, oh, wow, awesome.
Yeah,
I was already like
too. That kind of was the first clue that this is a
Probably
dream
not going to get it
sequence.
that way.
There's no way that's going to happen that way.
now.
And the pancakes and the rooster.
Yeah. Now here's where I'm gonna kind of.
I loved how she kept making bigger and better sweets for her when she woke up. That was probably my favorite part.
Yeah,
It's
just
those little
silly
things.
better sweets, which would imply that Apple Bloom is trying to make bigger and better sweets to distract her from her paranoia, but it's not working.
So what? Another fat joke?
No.
We had the fat joke in Inspiration Manifestation with Rarity and Ice Cream.
Oh boy.
And now you have the sweets on the table as a distraction for anxiety. Great.
Yeah.
Well,
But then the second dream happens when the intro is essentially, but with more sweets on the table. The intro is essentially the same, but now it's not about her paranoia at getting a cutie mark she doesn't like. It's her paranoia at getting a cutie mark and how her friends would react to it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's getting the right one. And man, talk about friend zone and then just out and out rejection.
Yeah, complete and utter rejection. They throw her out of the treehouse.
Which,
I'm like, that's messed up.
Which, by the way, a lot of fans do have these questions on their head. They've had these questions on their head ever since the three of those brats.
Lionel,
What?
give Chris a shout because he's.
Yep.
So he needs it.
Yep.
Okay.
But, yep.
Don't wait too long because he's.
Right. But you know what I mean. It's just that kind of craziness about the fans have been talking about this thing since I think they got together. Like, what was going to happen if one of them got it? And then we see a hypothetical result. Thank God it's just a dream.
yeah, really.
What I liked about that
Thank
idea
God,
is that they
would have been
showed
absolutely horrible.
Yeah, they showed that it was the way they portrayed it was kind of silly. The way they reacted, and it's a good message to show that because it's like, what if one got one before the other? Well, it's like obvious it would not go like this. Just how you really by the end of the dream.
No, it wouldn't go like this. This is obviously a
She
dream
realizes
sequence
how
that's
silly
being
it would
thought
be.
up by Apple Bloom.
To think that it would go that way, she probably realizes how silly it was after seeing this dream. So that's a good lead into the message, how all these things just so over the top, and she realizes, oh, well, there's got to be a more logical way for this to go, so I shouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah, but that's the reason they're intended. the writers intended for them to be over the top because they wanted to hammer home the fact that she's getting so paranoid that she's thinking these over-the-top these overly ridiculous scenarios.
And then Dream 3,
Happening.
Dream 3, man, just the flip of Dream 2. But that's pretty Diamond Tiara, Silver Spoonish sort of thing there with Belle and Scootaloo just
Yeah, it's pretty harsh.
being dicks.
Yeah, they pretty much pull the same thing, but in reverse. Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo get their cutie marks, and they reject Apple Bloom for not having one. And then she's essentially alone in the treehouse, nobody but herself. Because Babs got
Everybody
her
else in
cutie
the world has a
mark
cutie mark.
off screen. So
But,
essentially, there's no cutie mark Crusaders anymore.
but
They didn't even bother showing us, though, what Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle's was.
yeah, which
Could have come up with something weird.
again,
Oh, I got a knife and I got some super glue.
yeah,
I
yeah,
got a knife and I got some super glue. What?
play some Mad Lib with that.
They're like,
But
they're like bandits or
What?
something. Like, I threaten them, you glue their hands together so they can't.
yeah,
We're
Aaron,
back
you're
to the
messed
super
up.
glue.
Aaron,
I'm
you're
a nice
messed up.
glue on my table. That's the first thing I could say.
Fair enough.
Messed up! But anyways, that's the end of Dream 3.
but Dream
And then,
Dream 4 looks like an interrogation scene right out of 24 or something. Like, she was being
Why did you do
interrogated
that,
like...
Applejack? Why? Or whatever the hell your name is. I'm talking to myself.
you can't even remember her name.
Like,
Well,
like,
to be fair,
no wonder
their
you're
voices
interrogating
did start to
somebody.
get
You're
mixed
probably
up.
lost and confused.
like,
To be
like,
fair, their voices did start switching around.
like I felt like I was watching the Black Ops 1, like, start screen, like, what do the numbers mean, Mason?
What do the numbers mean?
And I liked how they had to go ahead and do the
The role
Applejack
switching.
started saying yep and nope, and Big Mac went ahead and explained, thoroughly.
Yeah.
Sweetie Blue,
It
your
was a
cutie
throwback
mark's
too.
not
They
an
did that in
apple.
the Bridal Gossip episode, or no, I messed that up.
In Ponyville Confidential...
Yeah, that's what it was. It was about gossip. Yeah, and that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
throwback to that.
Yep. Yeah, as my mom exits the stage. But you know, and the fact that it's a dolphin cutie mark, nice callback to Sweetie Belle Tolls. Like, how'd you know it was a dolphin?
Yeah, I got caught on that too. So I remember that.
But
Was it a pink dolphin?
yeah, and
She's
Sweetie
like a
Belle
dolphin
Tolls,
in
yeah. Yeah, that.
It was a dolphin, though. The fact, and basically this was supposed to hammer home the fact, this was paranoia at the fact of her getting the wrong cutie mark, that her family would reject her, not getting a cutie mark that has to do with apples or farming.
Apple related, yeah, which again, that's what the fans think of the Apple family. It's just these whole bunch of Southern stereotypes with Apple cutie marks that need a rocking chair, a shotgun, and a tobacco spew in the back end of their farm as they're all farming apples together.
At least they're not
It's
like
going to
the
be weird
Wyatts.
though. She's probably most likely not going to get anything Apple related. So that's probably the one thing she needs to worry about. She doesn't need to worry about, but that would probably be the most the biggest part of her dream, or the biggest shock to her is, oh yeah, I'm probably not going to get anything Apple related because I don't do much with apples. She's trying all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah,
She might even realize that herself. It's
But
not
as
the
you can see, as the dreams go along, her paranoia escalates, and the questions become bigger, and the dreams become more over the top.
and the fact that it is her own shadow doing this,
That makes sense.
that was the twist. That I don't think anybody saw coming that made it perfect, at least in my view, because we're all thinking Luna the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not, and it's
We're
not.
thinking that the
Apple Bloom
whole
is
time, though.
creating this. This is Apple Bloom's mind. She can dream up anything she wants, and her own paranoia is making these dreams.
And it's correcting them and trying to make them better, and they only get worse.
Yeah. And,
Well, it's trying to
trying to
correct
fix their
them,
own
but it's
problem.
making them but it's only making them
Yeah,
more
but-
worse and more over the top.
And then the comfort from the sweets is her like you said before, making them bigger and better to kind of...
Sweets get
fix
bigger.
them.
She's trying to
Yeah.
comfort herself and get away from the truth more and more.
I should watch that again. There's probably a lot of little hints
Yeah,
like that.
there's
Delve into one psyche and what they could do when they dream. There's probably a lot of little things they left in there.
but it speaks about a lot about growing up and about the anxieties, especially about leaving high school. Like, that's what I was thinking about, was, leaving high school. And Tyler is a good example because he just left high school. And there's that time when you're in high school or when you're about to leave that you're constantly thinking about your friends from high school. You're thinking about your next step in your career. You're thinking about what are you going to do for the rest of your life? How are your family going to take your creative decisions? What are you going to do? And you could even shrink it down to even deciding to be a brony or not. And about the acceptance of that and the anxiety of finally telling somebody and being out forward with being part of this
Basically,
fandom.
being
and,
accepting of being fully accepting of your bronyhood at the fact where you don't care who knows about it or who doesn't.
And whether people will accept you for it or people will like what you do because of it. And oh yeah, the doors, that's clearly a reference to Monsters, Inc. The fact that the dreams are doors.
Kinda.
Yeah, it's
So,
like a hallway. It's essentially a hallway of dream doors
Yeah,
where Luna can go inside the mind of pretty much anyone in Equestria.
yeah,
Me
there's
and
a,
you
time
kind
stops
of
for her.
predicted something like that, did we not, Lionel?
yeah, I did.
And I remember reading
And,
something like that at some point.
and
I said that myself, that you
Yeah,
kind of
but-
predicted this.
that in my own fan work, I already had this construct of the dreamscape being a set of doors and just go through different sets of doors, and that's how
Does
you
time
get
stop for her?
everywhere.
Does this time stop for her so she can just, does she go to everybody's dreams all in one night, or is it only a couple people are having trouble? I mean, it could take a while.
I'm honestly thinking that time stops for her or anybody in the dreamscape, because it's very obvious that she can freeze things via Sweetie Belle tolls and, change things on a whim. So obviously she's kind of cut off. She's in there, but she's not quite in there.
It's like
With-
time around her is moving, but time in the mindscape doesn't actually move.
Yeah.
So
and,
so essentially, when they're in there, time does not. There is no time.
and once
So they can
again,
spend
There is
as
no
much time
time.
talking about
Your
something
sword
that
is
they
enough.
want.
yeah, and plus,
Settled is
But
enough.
but essentially, when they get there, when they figure out that it was Apple Bloom's own paranoia that was making these nightmares, Apple Bloom comes to the realization that she's making this paranoia herself, and that
and it's a very adult moral. It is a very connected with adults and kids kind of moral. And the fact that it started out as an Apple Bloom episode, but then morphed into a full-on CMC-sode in that last 10 minutes was a brilliant writing twist and, once again, teases. Which brings up the same question I asked last week. Is this the season? Now can we say for sure that this might be the season we see these three,
And the reason what Lionel was talking about it being morphing into a CMC episode, it morphs into that because Apple Bloom asked the question later of, but is there someone like me that is essentially at the same paranoia? And Luna basically brings her into the mind of both Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo, and they have just as much paranoia as she does.
Yeah,
About their cutie marks. They're asking the same questions.
They're all on the same level there.
Which, again, brings up a very human concern among a group of friends, is whether your self-interest in your future will be, able to still maintain your friendships and maintain who you are, even if your career takes different paths. Like, I am a very good example, and that's why this episode kind of related to me, because I wanted to be a wrestling commentator. Since the age of 12, that was my mindset. I wanted to get a broadcasting degree, become a wrestling commentator, work for the WWE. Then around age 16, 17, 18, my late, high school years, started becoming about sports talk, sports broadcasting, being one of those sports radio guys. And then it shifted to this. Now, thankfully, I have always had a family that has always been accepting of it, but especially, just to tell you guys an inside story about the channel. When I first wanted to change this channel to what it is today, a kind of semi-pony related channel, me and David and Tyler, we had a friend that was going to be part of the channel at one point. And he was very against me.
Let me explain how fucking far he took shit. It got to the point where I said that I uploaded something to my channel, my personal channel, /arbiter, and he says, please, you need to tell me before you do that. No, I don't. I really don't. I really don't think I do.
Free country.
Yeah, and, he
wasn't convinced that it was. Let's not even get into that.
But he wasn't even convinced that it was obviously he wasn't convinced it was a free country, but it is a free country.
And and I wanted him on board, but I wanted him to show me something in terms of doing something. He had always been talking about the things he wanted to do, but he never went out and did it. He was like, and I pretty much dropped an ultimatum on him, saying, I'm going to go forward with this, with or without you.
Because at first it was kind of me bringing this up by saying, yeah, he's just saying shit. He's not actually doing shit. And then it got so fucking huge. It was like a bubble. It got so fucking big that Lionel just had to like, hey, I'm gonna pop this bubble.
I'm gonna go forward with me and my two friends, with or without you, and whatever this channel turns into is gonna be what it's gonna be. And he sent me a message on Xbox saying that it would be best for business if we went our separate ways. It was like a Triple H reference at the time. And, and that was about 2 years ago, folks, when I made that clear separation. So even now on a creative level, trying to figure out what to do, where to take the channel next can be really difficult sometimes, but it's good to have, 3 good friends, 4, that are really supportive. And that's really the message of this episode, is as long as your friends are there, doesn't matter what you go into, if they're true friends, they'll always be supportive no matter what career path you end up taking. Whether it's one that you embrace or whether it's one that you don't. You know, it's having guys that have your back and saying that you're doing the right thing regardless, that can make it fun and make it exciting, even if it's not your first choice. Now, I gave it a perfect score. First perfect score of the season. So, for the 3 of you, where do you sit on the rating scale?
Pretty much a perfect score for me. Definitely. Without question.
I will give it a 5. I think the only thing they could have done more was elaborated a bit on the other 2. I'm probably going to
I
be the
agree.
odd man out here. Oh, no?
No, I agree with you. There was a few things they could have done better with it.
I can agree with that, because
They didn't quite flesh it out. But it's still a pretty good episode.
Oh, undoubtedly.
I didn't
They
stop
could
and
have
go,
turned it into a into more of a CMC episode, maybe going into elaborated a little more on Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle's paranoia.
And the
By the way, good job with giving Sweetie Belle both the proper implied talent and the proper judges in that dream sequence. Way to go.
Although Rarity gave it a 1.
You have Vinyl Scratch and Octavia saying that you suck when you're doing music. You suck.
Because she was being generous.
Exactly.
The only time that Rarity is generous is in a dream.
Well, she wants the approval of her sister too. So those are pretty much the 3 ponies that she wants to get the approval of.
I swear, sometimes I think Luna has fun just trolling people in their dreams.
More than likely.
But Sweetie Belle would react to having, if she found out how Vinyl Scratch got her cutie mark.
But Thanks for the Memories is this week. Sounds like the name of a Fall Out Boy song, but...
One more time. Thanks for the memories, even though they weren't so great. It tastes like you, only sweeter.
But
I'm pretty sure nobody knows what the first thing they say is. It's literally like one more time.
but apparently we're talking turtle migration. The last time we talked about migration of anything, it turned into Dragon Quest. And
the last time I associated anything with turtles, it was that fucking Michael Bay atrocity that I will not speak of, and I wish was off this planet.
I hate to cut things quick, guys, but I gotta head out in like 2 minutes.
Yes, but that's the episode coming up this week. But we'll talk about it next week. Until then, I am Nirvana, Sparkle, find peace in your own Nirvana. Check out AmericanChoirBoy, twitch.tv/AmericanChoirBoy. He makes perlers and plays Zelda like 15% of the time.
And I am Dragonheart. Have a heart to think positively, every pony. And we'll see you next week.
I'm Dr. Spartan, and 31515.
Yes, indeed.